Suge, happy to have you back, my man.
Man, I ain't went nowhere. I'm closer than you think.
Yeah, man, I had to run it back. I mean, the people rock with you, so it was only right, man. So I gotta ask you, cause over the years, man, there's been a lot of confusion. When Tupac got shot in Vegas, was Snoop at the hospital?
So Snoop didn't go nowhere near the hospital. So when it happened, as you know, for some strange reason, but now we know the real reason, Snoop did not attend the fight with us or the after party at Club 662. And it was so crazy about that, we thought it was strange that he wasn't there. This is the first one he did attend. And according to Warren G and everybody else, now we know why he didn't. But to get straight to the point was this. I was at my house in Vegas, and I started calling Snoop, telling him, hey, what's up? You know, like it's something wrong with this situation. Pac in the hospital, come holler at him, come check on him. So he drove down, and I was at the house waiting on him. And Tupac's mother was at my house. So we back by the pool, and then the pool area is like two big guest houses. So as when Snoop come up, and there's other people out there, we walk in the back to talk. As we start talking, I said, I'm on him. Like, man, why you ain't here? You should have been at the hospital. And then Tupac's mother was there, and Fanny, she was like, yeah, I know you should want to see him. He told her, he was like, well, look, Tupac hates me right now. He mad at me. He hates me. So I feel bad, and that's why I didn't go up there. And Tupac's mother said, well, look, Pac was mad at me, too, for a few things I'd rather not swear for some stealing shit, she said, right? But, we all do that with our mothers. So she said, well, he was mad at me, too, but that's my son. I'm there. And if he hates you, you still supposed to go do the right thing and go visit him, right? So as we start talking, Snoop just start crying and fell down and start throwing up, like literally throwing up, right? So we looking at him like, damn, what happened to this dude? So once he get up and explain to him, and we didn't think nothing weird. We just thought he really emotional right now and he throwing up, So when he got himself together, we were still talking to him. Pac's mother says, it's going to be all right. He said, look, Boo Boo is pregnant. That's Shantae, Snoop's wife, by the way. That's the homegirl. She good people. So he told both of us that Boo Boo's pregnant. If it's going to be a boy, he going to name him Tupac, after Tupac. She had a boy, and they named him Cordell. That's Snoop's last son with her. So I don't know where you get all the extras from, but they had a conversation at the hospital and all that. That's absolutely not true. Say less, if you know what I mean. But instead of just saying less, since I've been in here, Snoop and other people been having people trying to bail the guy out, Keefy D, because he talking too much. Raising them trying to do stuff for Puffy because they say he talking too much. They even had somebody talk to me and say, hey, you can help him get free. I said, look, I don't have nothing to do with none of that, and I'm not leaving prison to go to nobody county jail. To the point they were saying, well, you can't leave and sacrifice a little bit in the county jail to stop that black man from getting life. Hell the fuck no. I ain't wishing bad on him at all because I don't want to see nobody go to prison. And like I told you last time, since I find out more details about certain things, I probably would go to the Vegas County Jail if me and Keefy D with Sellies. We have a good conversation after I give him, six upside his head, another 6 in his body, and another 2. But yeah, that's definitely didn't happen with Snoop didn't go to the hospital. That's a lie.
I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. You said that Snoop, he trying to bail Keefy D out of prison?
Well, this is the thing. First of all, you got to understand, him, Puffy, Ray J, all those dudes, they got Puffy ties. And apparently, Keefy D telling it all. You know what I mean? And the more he talked, the more they'd get hurt about the situation. And, you know, it's always a sad situation when we allow everybody to get into these events of wars or whatever you want to call it, because we all lose. Sometimes people lose their freedom. Sometimes people lose their life. But it's bad for business, and it's terrible for the culture. You know, me personally, I take full responsibility of any actions I did, regardless if it was great things or bad things. And we got to learn that we should all be able to be friends and get along and be able to be allies and respect each other. But we don't supposed to let a person come from a whole nother coast and start a war in the city that's not going to end up well. And what I mean by that, my opinion, it happened twice. When you listen to James' interview, and he's saying how, you know, James lived in the South Side neighborhood. He said how Puffy was coming over there throwing money around to have Tupac killed and have me killed. He played his part in the situation because he never said nothing to nobody. So his involvement. So, and you don't got to take my words, take his own words. So that played a role in changing the culture of hip-hop. And I also feel that Puffy also, he didn't do it on purpose, but some of the things he did took another great rapper from the West Coast from us, which is Nip. I mean, Nip was just doing fine. He was doing stuff for his community. He was doing stuff with his homies. He was doing great things as an artist. And what I love about Nip, that Nip, YG, man, those dudes was real brothers. Even though they represent two different colors, they was real brothers. And that was a real proud moment to witness that. And the reason why I blame Puffy for that, because once Puffy started messing with Nip, one, like I say, it's my opinion, going by what everybody else say, Puffy the one got these dudes on hardcore drugs. You know, everybody smoked a little weed, have a little drink, but he was introducing these guys to different type of level of drugs. He was going around doing videos and saying, you know, he the big homie of L.A. He run those dudes. Like I said, I wasn't there personally, so I just can't say it. This is my opinion. So when you start doing those things, that creates a lot of jealousy. That creates in-house stuff. Not saying they had something to do with Nip, so I ain't on that page. I'm just saying whatever the case may be. So we got to fix that.
So, Suge, I got to ask you, and shout out to Snoop. I don't got no issue with Snoop, but every time I ask you about Snoop, you always bring up Vegas. And from what I get from it is you feel like Snoop knew what was going to happen to Tupac in Vegas. Can you speak on that, if you don't mind? Like, go more into detail?
I'm going to put it like this. I'm never going to say him. But the writing's on the wall. What I mean by that, I know they got into it in New York. I know Pac ain't turning nothing down. Pac go. When it's time to go, he gonna go. And I know that us three, the three of us, was close. After I called my mother, I'm gonna hit Pac, I'm gonna hit Snoop, make sure they straight. So all three of us communicated with each other always. He had a fight. He had a ticket for the fight, a Tyson fight, where we always go to, a ring-size ticket. They all knew that was an East Coast night, and everybody was excited about it. I had Run DMC performing that night. When you look at it, Dad said that, hey, we wasn't going. Snoop was on, fuck Death Row, basically fuck Tupac and everything above, and something gonna happen.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Warren G says that Snoop was at his house watching the fight, and he had the walkie-talkie, the radio. Now, these walkie-talkies, the radios I had, it's not a Nextel. This is before all that. I had these radios that work on the whole West Coast. San Diego, Vegas, Oregon, the West Coast, Denver, right? So, only time a person got one of those radios, it's like if they was going to a club or they was going to court or they was going to an event that they could communicate with their security. Whoever doing those security details, the security didn't keep them 24/7. So the radios were handed to, if two guys was going to be on Snoop, I would hand them two radios, and Snoop would have one. After that's finished, they would turn them back in. So it wasn't no need for Snoop to have a radio. That was surprising. So when Warren says he heard the shots, he heard everything was going on, and when everybody said they heard him say they got him, that's not just a red flag. That's a fact that somebody involved with something they shouldn't have been in, and they had a radio they shouldn't have had. So that was the first thing. Then Corrupt, they interviewed Corrupt, and Corrupt says Snoop had the meeting and said, we're not going to Vegas. So they weren't going to Loserville, so that's basically saying like something's going to happen. And then Nate Dogg says, I'm going to Vegas. I don't got to be around those niggas. That's his exact words. I can be here, I can be there, long as I don't be around them. Basically saying if long as I'm not standing next to Tupac or me, he don't have to worry about a straight bullet getting him. No other way. And the fact that not only did he not come to the hospital, not one of those people, them people, whatever you want to call them, did not do a song with Tupac. We put out 2 albums after Tupac was gone. Snoop not on one. Snoop did his album. You probably guys don't remember. He did that album on his own. What was the Dogfather? It's not a Pac verse on that one. And he had lots of them to pick from. Not a one. When Tupac got a star on Hollywood Walk of Fame, not one of those individuals, them people, did not come. So you can go up there and accept the award for Pac, act like y'all was close, but y'all was enemies at that time. And I do say this with all respect to the whole West Coast. I tried everything to keep the love for Snoop. If there's something personal, we'll deal with that on something personal. But when he went out his way and showed the facts, what he did, his involvement, that bothers me. And what's even worse than that, Ray J even said Snoop told him that. So it's like bragging points. But it is what it is, Certain things that happen can't be changed. But shit, if you look, you're not going to smell the smoke. You're going to see that fire burning. That's that.
You and Michel'le, what made you start messing around with her, knowing that she had a baby with Dr. Dre?
Well, a couple of things. It's like this. I come from both of my parents. Both of my parents raised me. My mother showed me all the love in the world. My father taught me all the toughness in the world. But growing up, I used to do some things I should have been doing. That's like I heard when James was getting molested. But I was always in grown people's business. But what happened is this. My father used to always say, the boy ain't shit. He used to tell my mother, that boy ain't shit. Because every time I break something or do something, he would say that, right? In those days, I believed that. So in those times, I really wasn't shit, So it was like, that was my homegirl. And we was good friends, great friends. But at the same time,
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I always end up, I say this a lot, I never got cheated on because I always had somebody else bitch, somebody else wife, somebody else baby mama. So if you see me with somebody, they wasn't mine. I was boarding them for the time. So yeah, it got to the point where we was close friends, and she was giving me information about when Andre and Jimmy would be talking, and they'd be trying to figure out how to, beat me out some bread or get him to do something else, or how he was telling me he wanted to be white. So when she started telling me that, I felt loyalty to her, because that's when I went to Jimmy and Andre, and we had a meeting. There ain't no fairy tale shit like Straight Outta Compton was, even though I didn't see it. Ain't no way nobody wear number 2 lip gloss or lipstick gonna tell me what they gonna do. So when we had this meeting, Jimmy, Andre, and myself, and I was on him because he wasn't doing anything. He did like 2 or 3 songs on the Chronic, even though Daz want to not tell the truth, but the paperwork tells the truth. Daz did all the production on Doggy Style. He didn't do no songs personally on California Love. Jay Flex wrote his verse, and this other guy that the paperwork shows that I paid to do the beat and bring Roger in. So when it came to that conversation, I called Jimmy out on it. I said, man, you are having these meetings and you trying to plot. So I'm going to kick him off Death Row. Now, if Death Row was worth close to $700 million, or well, I don't give a fuck if it was worth $50 million, and you leave only with $2 million, is he the tough guy or I'm the tough guy? Because I shouldn't be in here for the case I'm in here on, and you should ask me about that. But I should have got 20 years, because that's cold, flat-out robbery, to give that man $2 million to walk away from Death Row. And even still today, they can say it's much better. I can't see it, because you don't have no respect about yourself. Everybody know how many times you be on your stomach. But besides that, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. People can be who they are. But besides that, never happened. So I did show Michel'le love. I did send her to Betty Ford to get it from being an alcoholic or whatever. And I did look out for her and put her on songs. And she did come visit me when I was in prison. But I never married her. I never really been married. Everybody say all these things, but one day I will. But and we have one of the best things in the world ever could happen in that relationship. I had Bailey, my daughter, which is all my kids is blessings to me, but she's a real blessing. And I love her. But like I said, I love all my kids. Oh, by the way, hey, Ray J, my 15-year-old legend is taller than you and your whole crew. 15 years old, man. Everybody.
But do you think that was one of the reasons why Dr. Dre left Death Row? Him finding out that she was sleeping with his baby mom?
I mean, no, I wouldn't say that, because, shit, I gave him his wife. I can put my hand on the Bible. When everybody was going around and Easy and was coming out with the songs and everybody saying that, back in those days, you couldn't be a gay rapper. So when everybody's saying he was gay and all this type of stuff from everybody, I went and had an emergency meeting with me and Andre at the place called the Black Whale in the Marina. Then we talking, and I told him straight up, I'm like, hey, everybody going around here, man, saying you mess with men. So I thought he was going to say, fuck that. Whoever said that, he want to get down with him or something. He said the ultimate answer to me. Why they in my business? Why they worried about what I'm doing and who I'm sleeping with? So that made me know that, hey, he do get down. And Bruce know they get down. The guy he met at Chippendales and started living with him, right? Or David Ruffin Jr., right? So it wasn't about putting him on Front Street. Death Row, we're a family. I'm like, look, man, we got to do something about this. We got to do how they do the actors in Hollywood. You know, if Rock Hudson or any of those big-time actors was gay, the first thing they do is get them married. For people who won't believe the truth or rumors or whatever it may be. I said, man, you got to get married ASAP. Who you feel the best or you care about the best that you're married right now? Because we got to do this like Vegas marriage. He said, Michel'le. So he called Michel'le. He asked her to marry him right away. She declined. And my pages started blowing up, saying that, she was paging me. I'm the one to plug in with my alleged buffer, Nicole. She already had a baby by still 3. She's messing with AGM. You know, Nicole got around. Like Tupac say, I get around. So that was put together on my own doing. So it had nothing to do. That's where the marriage came in place. And once they was married, he whooped on her and she caught him in the bed with a guy. I made sure he had a prenup. Once that came about, I told him to let her know he had tear the prenup up, long as she don't tell on him. She didn't tell on him, move forward, the divorce. She won't have of the $200 million he had. She got, 100, whatever it was. And he couldn't fight the prenup because she would have called me in as a witness, and she would have spoke about the fact that she caught him with a man and he whooped ass. So that's why he didn't fight the prenup. But that had nothing to do with the fact that he didn't get mad about me sleeping with Michel'le. Because I'm probably think that at that time, like I said, it's nothing to be proud of. 90% of the women that look good, I had some time with them, you know? You do those things when you're young. So when you get somebody, when you get older, or old like me, you can appreciate somebody, you know?
The Death Row party where y'all made a guy that was affiliated with Bad Boy Drake Urine. Can you give me the backstory behind that?
I always have a big Christmas party for Death Row. And it's hard to get, like, certain places because they don't agree with the lifestyle we live. We about that life. So I rented this whole compound of property to have a Christmas party there. And, we bring our parents and all that type of stuff. So I always want to have a nice, one of the best groups around, the oldie group. I didn't have the Isaac brothers do Mother's Day, but for the Christmas party, I had the Whispers. And what's better than the Whispers as the beat goes on for all our parents and the older people and us. So we're at this Christmas party, and, Jody C there, pretty much everybody. So we, everybody doing shots before we get to the party. Now we're at the party. Now Jewel's my homegirl. But Jewel's part of the Compton Get Downs. And it's nothing slicker than the Compton Get Downs. You know what I mean? They're going to play every side, upside, downside, whatever they want to do.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So me and Pac is talking, and Jewel comes over and introduces her to this dude to say that's her boyfriend. So she walks away and she come back. Well, they walking away, but she come back without the guy. And she said, "What's up, Pac?" She talking to me and Pac. And Pac said, "Damn, Jewel, who you with? Is he from the West Coast?" Jokingly, not thinking he's not from the West Coast. Jewel started laughing and said, "Shit, that motherfucker worked for Bad Boy. That's one of Puffy's people." So Pac was like, "Jewel, everybody say you're loyal, you're unloyal. You're not loyal. You don't have no loyalty. In other words, you're a curvy ass bitch." And we started laughing. So the guy looks back and he see we laughing. So I guess his motherfucking instincts was right. He takes off running. We take off running behind him. So when all the homies see me running, everybody runs behind him, including Andre, including Snoop. Because everybody want to know what's up. So this dude runs up the stairs, first mistake. Because once he got up the stairs and got in that room, it was some type of guest house. There's no way out. So when we all get up there, he getting his ass whooped. He getting the shit beat out of him. Every person who came up those stairs, except for me, of course, beat the shit out of him. So as he getting beat, one of the homies, and I can say his name because Colton ain't here. That's one of my closest friends from the West Side. Non-type business type of dude. He grabbed him and was throwing him out the window. Only thing was holding him up is shit, his belt and a leg or so. I'm like, nah, don't throw him out the window, shit. Everybody saying that motherfucker gonna die. He pulled him back in. Every person in there got some licks in, even the bitches. So now everybody talking to him. You know, the dude begging for his, for his safety. As they talk to him, that stupid motherfucker was like, yeah, I do work for Puffy, I do work for Bad Boy, and Pac got to smacking him again, smack, smack, smack. They're against me, they're my enemies. Everybody started smacking them because they wanted to prove, their loyalty. So, a lot of us still got champagne glasses in our hand, champagne bottle in our hand. We having a great time. So I said, oh, man, let him go. That ain't his fault he worked for the motherfucker, right? They were like, man, what are you talking about? You being nice to him? You done had motherfuckers, even some of the people in this room, drink piss before. So they start pissing in the motherfucking champagne cups. This dude probably drunk maybe, I don't know, I wasn't counting, but it had to have been over 30. It was so bad, as he's talking, I had to back up because he smelled like piss. So Pac and them got mad at Snoop because Snoop the only one, besides myself, when I said everybody, my bad, Snoop the only one didn't participate of beating the dude's ass. But Snoop was a good dude. He always had a good heart. He was like, nah, man, you know how he talked with that little Michael Jackson voice. He was like, nah, man, that because he worked for Bad Boy, we don't have to be doing all this. And this is the West Coast, but we don't got nothing against it. That's the conversation, basically. So from there, I did something probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. I said, well, he probably ain't going to tell the police that somebody have sex with him. As you know, usually when something crazy happens, nobody don't want to give on the police report to them. Oh, they had sex with me. Oh, they did this with me, So I'm just thinking, no. So Andre, and it's real talk. I don't care who believe it, don't believe it. I have no reason to lie. Andre was like, shit, I fuck him. But believe me, it's not the first time that rodeo happened because we all seen certain things they did, if you know what I mean. So, believe it or not, Andre, Dr. Dre beat it up a little bit. To my surprising, he sued Pac, he sued Andre, he sued everybody. He didn't sue me because I didn't lay a hand on that dude, right? I paid everybody's fee. I told Andre, I'm gonna pay your part. I told Pac, I'm pay your. I told everybody who he sued, I'll pay it. I said, but that's y'all motherfucking shit. Y'all gotta run my money back. By the way, Pac, my little brother, he ain't here. Oh, Andre Young. Yeah. I want my bread when I'm home. Have it ready. But look, that's a true story, and you can put a lawsuit and it shows it for itself. So that's just that, But Jewel, I got all love in the world for her. But Jewel she was a grimy gal. She was a cold bitch in a good way. But what I'm basically saying, and a lot of people talk about all this stuff, how everything gets miscrewed or confused, nobody taught us the playbook. I came with the name Death Row. I started Death Row. Everything with legal money. And David Kenner was not my attorney. He was a criminal attorney. John Branca is the one that did the stuff for me on and Gary Stiffany for the entertainment side of it. But that's been said, this is like Danny Boy said a statement before. Danny Boy said, well, I wrote all these songs and I blame Suge because I get all this money. Well, I understand Danny Boy didn't understand the business. First of all, when I met Danny Boy, I took a liking to him and treated him like a son from day one. He was signed to a friend of mine named Shorty, who had him on a contract. So I had to buy him out that contract. Because Shorty had spent a lot of money on Danny Boy, so he say. But he was on the paperwork. So right off the top, before I did anything with Danny Boy, I had to buy him out that contract. Danny Boy didn't write none of the songs he performed on any of the projects with Death Row. I had him do a remake. He didn't write that one. I had Babyface do the music and write the lyrics. He didn't write that one. And I ain't mad at you or anything he sung with Pac. Tupac wrote that. So if Tupac writes something and sing it in his own voice, and then I said, man, look out for Danny Boy, put Danny Boy on there or something. Tupac brings Danny Boy in, like when he brung KC and JoJo in. When he brung them in, right? They just singing what he wrote. So you can't get publishing if you didn't write it. So there's no way I'm supposed to pay you publishing royalties on a song you didn't write. And what people don't understand, if $1 is being owed on a song regarding publishing, it's nothing out of my pocket. If $1 go to Tupac, that still don't come out of my pocket. If $1 goes to Danny Boy, that still don't come out of my pocket. Or Tupac get 50% of it. If Danny Boy get 50% of it, I still got to pay the same dollar. But I can't give somebody publishing on a song that they did not write. That's why me and Vanilla Ice had to hang out, because he was trying to claim a song that he did not write. By the way, Vanilla Ice, that helped start Death Row. Not from no motherfucking informant saying drug money did. And I ain't trying to bounce all over the place, but that's sort of crazy. They still ain't, that's an whole other conversation. But anyway, that's how that happened.
I've been hearing this rumor for a while now, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that you slapped Jermaine Dupri. Is there any truth to that or no?
Some of it is. So the situation was like this. Did that, though. So the situation is like this. Lil Bow Wow was my artist. So I met Lil Bow Wow, one of the homies, rest in peace, met Lil Bow Wow's mother. He liked her. She had a son to rap. He said, man, let me bring him backstage and all this. So he brought her back, and she had Lil Bow Wow. Off the top, I seen Lil Bow Wow. I said, that little dude's a star, So I ended up moving Lil Bow Wow, his mother. Lil Bow Wow, at the time I thought it was his father, but it turned out to be his stepfather, to Brentwood. Yeah, where OJ lived at. So it's a nice neighborhood. So moved to Brentwood, had him home study the Ray J stuff, had him, took care of everything. I even had Lil Bow Wow on the Arsenio Hall. At the end, he rapped, and he dissed Easy. He talked about Eazy-E. Anyway, nevertheless, when I went to prison...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Snoop took Lil Bow Wow to Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri signed him. But you can't sign him because he had a contract and I got money I paid already. But a lot of people don't know this. By the way, when everybody say they got a deal with me and they got my life right, they did something with me, which they don't. But if you ever do a deal, regardless of any type of deal, our money got to be changed. I don't care if it's $1, got to be some type of money. So Jermaine Dupri and them knew that he was signed to me and a lot of money was passed hands. So, I didn't want to mess up the little dude's career and try to destroy his life. And his mother, I got a lot of respect for her. So I came home and I said, look, I didn't stop all this, but how's this happening? So I used to feel that suing people is like snitching on people. which is stupid. That cost me a lot of money by thinking that way, which is not. But anyway, it was up to Jermaine Dupri. I didn't want my motherfucking money from Lil Bow Wow or his mother. I want my bread from Jermaine or Snoop, whoever I catch first. So I got shot. I think that's the time I was shot in Miami. You know, it's bad when you don't remember what time you got shot. Been shot so many times, you know. So I get a ride up to. I used to go to the Subway and Fat Burgers 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, get something to eat, come back to the high rise, and the Lord delivered Jermaine Dupri to me. God did that. Now, I'm not saying in a bad way, because you know I believe in God, but He delivered him to me. So as I see Jermaine Dupri, he see me, his eyes big as a motherfucker. I say, hey, what's happening with my bread you owe me? For Lil Bow Wow, you know he signed to me. Still is. So he started getting around the bush. I said, man, I'm going to tell you one more time. What's bracket? And it wasn't one of those that somebody gets slapped so hard they slide down the street, but it was something that made you get your attention. But Jermaine Dupri is one of the smartest little motherfuckers around. He called Joe Jackson and put it on speaker. And he tells Joe Jackson, help, Sugar's right in front of me, mad. And Joe didn't know he was on speaker. And Joe, man, I know Suge. Big Suge is a friend of mine. I said, what's up, Mr. Jackson? He started laughing. He started talking. And then Jermaine Dupri was like, you know, Suge about to get me. And Joe was like, no, man, me and Suge go way back. Suge, give me your word right now that you're not going to beat the shit out of Jermaine Dupri. And I didn't want to be like, you know. He's like, man, you know he with Janet. So I said, all right. I said, all right to him. And I said, man, give me one of those coffees. He said, these for me and Johnson. Give me yours then. So I told Jermaine Dupri, I'm not going to beat him up. I had him, you know, get on his knees, and I opened one of the cups of coffee and poured it on top of him. And I could hear Joe Jackson shouting. The phone fell on the ground. It was still on. I actually picked the phone up. And Joe like, man, what are you doing to me? You gave me your word. I said, man, I only shared some hot coffee with him or something. I said, but you know what, Joe? I'm out of here, Mr. Jackson. Never talked about it. Never mentioned it. Never played games about it. And, you know, I shouldn't have did that to Jermaine Dupri. Even though he cut though and did something scandalous, I got to leave the little people alone, man. You know, that ain't right. Shit. Jermaine, Ray J Crew, they all the same height. I apologize to all the short people, men, that I offended. And I didn't do it many times. I want you guys, I never apologize to anybody, but I'm going to apologize to the short people, the men, Ray J, Jermaine Dupri, and your little, you know, your little crew. Hope my apology is accepted. I hope y'all don't go through no weirdo stuff and want to talk about me again, you know, but words for the wise. It's not what you say about me. It's not how you talk about me. If you really want to get my attention, now I'm not pumping it up, but if you really want to get my attention and you really want to make a name for yourself, we know who got a big mouth. Let's sit in the room. We can all have some understanding.
You and Ray J, everything good between both of y'all? I know you was telling me that, you know, he wasn't really a Pyru. What you mean by that?
Well, first of all, last time we spoke, I didn't want to be on Ray J. I said, Ray J need prayer. We need to pray for him because I don't want to be the one to push him over the edge. He hang himself or something. But first and foremost, I don't think Ray J is all to blame You know, his whole get down been a scam, and Ray J into shit he shouldn't be in. And I don't know why, but it's funny that all the little dudes who 5'5" and 5'6" or whatever, I don't care if they artists, guitar players, manager, whatever, all the short guys have a problem with Mr. Knight. It's not my fault. I am not your daddy. I didn't make you short. Don't be mad at me. But one thing you better remember, when we get older, you might start off like me. I can start off at 6'4". I'll start getting older, you lose an inch or two. So don't be mad at short people. Get shorter. But for me personally talking about Ray J, oh, by the way, Ray J, y'all trying to bully my son? Hey, he's a good kid. He wasn't raised like that. You know what I mean? So when y'all call him and threaten him or say I'm not his father and put a picture of him and another nigga on there saying that's his father, I love all my kids. And I know that boy is my son. But even if he wasn't my son, or any of my kids wasn't mine, I done took care of them. I love them. I support them. And God will give me even a bigger blessing to take care of a child and raise a child and look out for him, even the fact that I didn't make him. But to try to bully him, that's some weirdo shit. So, you know, all y'all need to take a break and eat some milk, drink some milk and cookies. That's soft shit. But back to Ray J saying he from Power Rule.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It's not up to me to say who from Power Rule ain't from Power Rule. But I tell you this, if you are from Power Rule, what are you doing for the Power Rules? Are you getting anybody lawyers? Are you having anybody in prison? Are you at the hood days that y'all want to say Bompton? What are you doing? So I think it's more to it just to say you're a gang member or you from Power Rule and you're not showing the love to the Power Rules. So I have no idea. I know this. I know they surroundings show they not from Power Rule because I can't picture a real Power Rule scared to go anywhere, even by himself. I can't picture a real Power Rule who turning down his fades. If you say you from Power Rule and motherfuckers calling you out and want to run it, if you ain't running, that's a DP. Don't be mad at me. Understand the politics. A real Power Rule is not going to be talking about somebody who's dead. A real Power Rule is not going to be talking about somebody in prison. Because if I'm in prison, I ain't there to pull up on you. You damn sure can't pull up on me. So talking bad about people who's not there to have that understanding is weirdo shit. But even though I'm in prison, and if your heart aches that much that you want to run it, I can stand and write up and go to the hole. You can come fill out a visiting form, come in the visiting room, and I can express myself with you. If we ain't talking about doing none of that, I love everybody out there, especially the homies. Stay focused on yourself. Leave real niggas alone.
Speaking of Ray J, you was telling me that he lied about seeing Faith on Tupac Lap. Because I know last year, me and him did an interview and I asked him about it. Yeah, that's dope, man. I always heard the rumor that she was around Death Row, but I never knew if it was true or not until now. But I gotta ask you, right? It's no way I can do this interview and not ask you. You did an interview back in 2008, right? Where you made a comment saying that you seen Faith on Tupac Lap.
See, that's what I'm saying. I ain't want to go viral again because I done said shit when I was younger, bro, that I don't even feel like I should have said because it was probably nobody business. You get what I'm saying? And so that's what took me back to that, of me saying I ain't trying to go viral. That's why I said Pac came to my birthday party when I was young, like 18, and that's a positive story. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a non-viral moment.
Well, that's bullshit. And the reason why I say that because Jay went with Pac. And you know, it's always try to give people respect. And I do got love for Ray J, but the love will never be shown again. Because he crossed the line when he recorded me and act like he wasn't recording me to play it everywhere. Not that I have anything to hide, because anything I say once, I can say twice. But back to Faith. Faith is a mother, and she should continue to be a mother. But Faith got a bullshit side to her too. It been certain bitches that Faith will know, and that bitch would find out that bitch know me, and she be like, "Well, I'm not cool with them. They on some West Coast shit, Death Row shit." But since Faith should take the time to belittle Pac and say that she was at the studio to do a song, and when she had to get paid, Pac asked her to suck his dick. Well, Faith, we didn't have no Puffy shit going on or no freak out parties. But you know, and I know, he was getting his dick sucked, and I was getting my dick sucked. And you was sucking his dick. It had nothing to do with no song. So all about you never messed with Tupac and you never had sex with Tupac. Allegedly you said that, or allegedly, if you want to call it, I'm telling the truth.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But you know, see, Pac never had a problem getting bitches. Pac probably was one of the biggest artists I ever seen do it, because you have some people was marketable that really couldn't rap, really didn't have no shit to really talk about. Then you have somebody like Tupac, both. Now, lyrically, Biggie is one of the best that ever did it, still today. And not too many people lyrics can fuck with Biggie lyrics. But Biggie would have to go on the stage and rap till he's sweating to get everybody's attention. Tupac come on the stage, before he opened his mouth and say one verse, that motherfucker come out of his shirt. All the hoes gonna lose their mind, rush the stage, and throw panties up there before he start rapping. Tupac is what you call a superstar. Death Row, the real Death Row, that is. Death Row, which is me, I just didn't have artists. I made stars, superstars. Everybody was a household name before they even put a record out. Big difference.
Is there any truth to Dre not wanting to give Pac California Love?
Absolutely not, because this producer dude did the beat. So Jay Flex is the homie who's signed to my publishing company, and he wrote the song, California Love. It was just California Love without Roger Troutman and none of that. So we listened to the song, I'm like, man, it's a hit song, but it'll be a whole 5-10 years before we do an album on Andre. So me and Pac being so tight, I tell him, I said, look, take off the second verse, and I'm going to have Pac write to it. Put it on All Eyes on Me. So when Pac came to the studio, I said, I got something for you. It's a gift. And I said, the second verses I took off, so that's you to write to. So take it home and, write to it. He heard it, said, man, I don't got to take it home. I'm going to do it right now. So he ran in the booth and knocked it out. He did it. Then once he did it, we kept playing it back. Then I called.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Roger Troutman came in. I gave him a couple $100,000. And he laced it. Yeah, and Andre was mad about it because he wanted it for himself. So that wasn't even no situation where it was a good one. You know, we did that, became history. Shit, that's that. And at that time, Pac and Snoop was falling out because Snoop didn't even show up to the California video. We did two of them, one in the desert and one started off at the Compton swap meet. Like I said, that's before the shit happened in New York. It was already a situation where I think this jealousy just overtook everybody. You know what I mean? Because it was a time where everybody was running them, and then Pac came and shut the whole West Coast down. Not just Death Row took over. Pac came and did some things that nobody never did before.
From my point of view, right, it always seemed like Pac and Dre never clicked. Why was that?
Well, when he found out that he wasn't doing the production, he wasn't writing no lyrics, and he was like, man, why this dude getting credit for verses he not writing? And why he getting credit for tracks he not producing? And that was his question. But then the final thing was, when Snoop trial was going on, I needed Andre to go up there and be a character witness for him. And he didn't want to do it. So the lawyer's like, man, you gotta go. We need you. He said, man, he was like, you better cancel that. If it's up to me, he going to prison. So Pac was like hot about that because Pac had so much love for Snoop. That's another thing about Pac so much. He was like, I'm riding for this dude, and he ain't riding for me. So that's how it all started going bad. And then they did a song called No Diggity, No Doubt with Teddy Riley. And at the beginning of it, Dre pretty much dissed Snoop about, you know, even though he didn't write it, but it was like Pac thought he was dissing. He said a dog can't, you know, all fetch and all that type of shit. So Pac had wrote Snoop a verse. Snoop came and did his verse on Toss It Up. Even though he didn't do it, Pac went in on him, you know, and said what he said and stood by it. But, you know, Pac was just a different type of man, all Death Row. And a lot of people say a lot of things. And a lot of people say there's truth on these platforms is because I'm mad about Death Row. That's crazy because we had moved from Death Row a long time ago. I started Death Row in 91. Death Row died in 2001. And I don't know why Snoop or anybody else, if they that good, they should make their own label. If they failed at their label, or whatever Jay said, Jay said make another hoe, or whatever he called himself, another Jay-Z. And I feel the same way when everybody's, you know, pounding on their chest that have nothing to do with nothing. I'm not mad. Nothing but blessings to everybody.
Yeah, you referring to Lost Ones when Jay said that line about making another Hove?
Yeah. Once again, you know I'm not a rapper.
When Sam Snead got beat up, was you there?
Of course. So when everybody gets into it, it's the red room. So the rules of the red room is this. No matter what we arguing about, we can go among ourselves and deal with it. And, you know, fight about it. You don't got to fight, but our thing was like this. Is, say, for instance, that Pac called out Corrupt, Dad, Snoop, anybody, right? Only thing they got to say is, I don't want to get down with Pac. Then everybody say, you a bitch. And once everybody say you a bitch and you don't want to get down, it's over. You don't got to fight. You accepted that you're a bitch. And if you do choose to fight, win, lose, or draw, motherfucker, shake hands and it's over with. That's the rules of it. So, it's been a couple of times it was a little crazy, but Sam Snead was there basically getting Andre's back. So, Pac didn't want to do Saturday Night Live with Andre. And I'm like, man, what's up? He's like, man, you my big brother. If you're going to beat me up, if everybody going to get me, let's get it out the way. I'm not doing no song with Andre because he a homosexual. Dre tell him, I'm not a homosexual, I'm a bisexual. So Pac jumps up shouting, I told you, he going around, fucking niggas in the ass. And Dre cool. Dre like, man, you silly. You a silly motherfucker. I can fuck a bitch in the ass. If I'm going to be a bisexual sometime, shit, I'm letting them drive me. They on top. Pac said, that's it. I'm not doing Saturday Night Live. So that's why we did half of California Love and All I Ain't Mad at You. That's been said. Now it comes back to if Andre ain't going to get down, somebody close to him got to get down. And Sam Snead used to be with Andre all the time. So it was his turn up. Man, Pac gave that boy so many ooh-wees and ooh-wees and ooh-wees that by the time we got to Monty's, he was transformed. You know what I mean? Pac gave him a good one. Beat the shit out of Sam Snead.
Yeah, I remember doing an interview with Jay Flex. He was talking about how Sam Snead got jumped, and he said that, after that happened, he never seen him around Death Row no more.
Sam Snead was out of there. But, that ain't the only thing, because, a lot of people was mad because, like, it was a song Sam Snead did a couple of songs. Like, Keep Your Heads Ringing. That was Sam Snead beat, Sam Snead lyrics for Sam Snead. Andre wanted it and changed the lyrics for him. So all that stuff started piling up because a lot of times people was getting jacked for they songs, But I ain't never said jack them for their songs because I'm gonna get the same amount of money. I'm gonna have to pay the same amount of people. But every now and then somebody had to do something. If Andre wanted it, they'd be standing up for their shit. But then Dre would take them on to dinner or they'd hang out. They might coming back being talking a little more timid. But they said, it always ends the same way. He can have it. He can say he produced it. I don't care. That goes from whoever did a lot of songs, regardless if it was on, on Snoop's album, soundtracks, on the other album, even the Chronic. Once somebody spend the night, they come back, it's a whole different story. They like, let him have it all. The song, the publishing, whatever. Welcome to Death Row. Shit.
So, Suge, if you can you give me the backstory behind the run-in that you and Eminem had on the set of 50 in the Club video?
All right. First of all, let's get to Eminem. Whatever I say once, I can say twice, and there's receipts to it. I don't know how he want to fight me when Eminem was at the awards, and a guy named Gangsta Steve, I call him one of the best friends in life to have. He called Death Row. I happened to be on the phone. He said he needed to talk to me, and I was on the phone. He said Eminem was at the awards show. Eminem is in the lion's den. They about to eat Eminem ass up. They called. I talked to somebody. I said, hey, I ain't trying to put their business out there. They can tell their own story. I said, hey, tell them to leave that, I didn't even know no Eminem. Leave that white boy alone. Give him a pass. All right? Moving forward, I'm fresh home. We go to a video shoot. Once we go to this video shoot, it's probably like 10 of my homies, maybe 15. It's probably like 20 of my Mexican homies, Some real live Southsiders with all that. So as we go to the set, one dude said where he was from, time we got in the vicinity. He got smacked. He gets up, runs, and tells them that, hey, I'm outside and we outside. and you can hear all these dudes talking. One, they opened the door up. When they opened that door up, they didn't see nobody leaving or running. They seen bald-head brown, long-haired blacks, and bald-head blacks saying, "Come on." Next thing you know, they said they called the police. Next thing you know, you hear sirens. The helicopter shining the light. We barely got out of there. After I got out of there, I had a violation. 50 did an interview. It's Newsweek, Entertainment Weekly, or whatever. And they asked him about that. They said, "Hey, didn't they come up there to get y'all?" And 50 was like, "No." He came, he just wanted to know who the new kid on the block was. They came up there real deep with Mexican gang members, black gang members. He said, "Is that a violation of Suge Knight parole being around gang members?" So, and I ended up getting violated on all that type of stuff. So for is Eminem checking me, that's a laughing matter, you know. I mean, it's ridiculous. But at the same time, Eminem, you know. I'm not a rapper. I'm quite sure you can out-rap me. I'm definitely too big to slap the shit out of you. But if that's something he really want to get it, I'm quite sure I could find a little homie in his class and run it, you know. I don't know why everybody got so many stories. For me to be a person who just living my life, why are you worried about me? I'm in prison. But at the same time, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to let you guys go, is that why is it so many stories can be said and so many questions can be asked? Where was all these conversations when I was on the streets? Is everybody all of a sudden tough? It makes no sense. I understand. I have wonderful kids. I'm being blessed. Got a woman. I got people that I love. And what's better than to have a woman you can be in love with? What's better than to have a situation where you can grow with my grandkids? I made it. I didn't supposed to get to be 18. Look at my age now. And I got grandkids. So at the end of the day, say what you need to say to make you find a place that you don't deserve. I don't got to say shit because I'm in my place. And I'm still on top. Only thing I need now is my freedom.
The '04 Vibe Awards. It's a story that's been going around for a while now that you and the guys you was with attacked Dre. Can you give me the backstory behind that?
Well, first of all, he wasn't on stage. And I was at the Vibe Awards. I just had parole from prison. And while he was accepting this award, Quincy was up there talking. As he was talking, he was like, well, you know, getting the details, saying he was a producer and whatnot. And Andre was sitting there with his family, with his wife or whatnot. And somebody came up to him, and when they shined the light on him, they was like, well, this person going to get this award. And they, you know, shined the light on him and got everybody's attention. He got socked about 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And the Yellow Jackets came and grabbed him and pretty much handcuffed him and took him out of there. At that point, all those dudes and all those tough guys there told the police on me. The police came to, like they was going to take me to jail. I'm already on parole, you know. So on that Monday, my PO called me in, and that changed my parole conditions. The reason why I was really bad they changed my parole conditions because we had some unfinished business. Like on my publishers at Time Warner, they recruit publishing that it wasn't his publishing. And I couldn't deal with the situation because when they made it one of my parole conditions, if myself or a lawyer or anybody know me, talk to him or anybody that know him, I get a year violation, a bullet. And it makes sense to me. So I was telling my parole officer, like, hey, he's not a baby mother. He's not a battered woman. How is all this coming at me like this? But it did. That just show you this deck is always stacked against a real one, you know?
And I know when I interviewed Ali Adam, he told me that when you got shot in Miami, that was the reason why. Because of what you did at the Vibe Awards. And Quincy Jones, he was behind that. So, they felt a type of way about that.
Suge about to come to Miami. Bah! More Suge in Miami in the Red Room Shore Club, 5-star hotel, but basically know how to swing around there. Kanye West party, and him and P.D. Pablo there. I talked to P.D. Pablo like 2 weeks after that. And, walked around. When I walked around, I saw Jim Jones and Chrissy. I'm like, hey, man, y'all go ahead. Chrissy damn near G'd up. She could just tell by my look, man, go ahead, man. She like, babe, let's go. He like, man, let's go. Chrissy, take him and go. So, walk around, hit Suge in the little thigh, ain't nothing. Take a little picture, go home, he yell, ah! And I'm like, listen to this fat bit, you know what I'm saying?
Shit, I don't know him. Obviously, he know me. And shit, if he shot me, more power to him. But I didn't say this. Well, one, I don't know him. Two, I don't know why he's saying that, but I guess I got to say either I'm just blessed by God or I'm just blessed it was a coward. Because I heard people talk about that. But in Miami, I never seen who shot me because nobody came up and shot me. Somebody fired a shot, and I got shot in the leg, And then when I turned around, they was running. So I wouldn't have, Well, good thing about it, at least he was a coward. Because me, if I'm going to shoot somebody, I'm going to be real personal with it. I'm going to have blood on my face or somewhere. It ain't going to be my blood. But, that make him feel good about himself. I guess everybody got a position somewhere. We was in Miami like I usually be in Miami. Went to the Shore Club. Went to the Shore Club. When they see me coming in, all the police came out and told me I can't bring no guns in there and search me and search my homie. And once we got in there, just a little moving around. And done different, same old shit. And, that's basically it. Nobody came and approached me. Nobody came around. I know I was talking to somebody, and a gunshot went off. I got hit like in the leg, in the back of my leg. I turned around, and everybody was running. But the crazy thing about that, the police came and handcuffed me. I was like, is that right? So it took like an hour.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And another hour or something to get to the hospital. But all in all, they tried to sue me. All in all, they wrote some crazy letters. The people who own the Shore Club, they was like, well, we glad he got shot because he a Crip. That nigga's a Crip. That's all that nigga is, a gangbanging Crip, and we glad he got shot. And the crazy thing about this when it happened, I had to be really in the dark because instead of me getting mad at the fact that these white people called me a nigga, I was more mad at the fact that they called me a Crip, which is stupid. I was like, they called me a Crip. I ain't no Crip, right? I should have been mad because they called me a nigga. So the dude on the Shore Club and the model chick, they some racists. Some real cold racists. And they brought Kanye in it because it was Kanye party. And then they was like asking Kanye, do he know what good music is? He in the oath. He said he never heard of that. And so I get on the white people. It's like, hey, don't be, the lawyer basically, don't be trying to harass Kanye. Leave it alone. So all in all, it's a whole bunch of racist people. All in all, if somebody can shoot me, and the police give them a medal, an honor, they cigars, I understand. Only when it comes to me. Only in America. That's that, you know. I don't know no bitch-ass nigga named Ali Adams, whatever. But I'm quite sure we're going to have a conversation as soon as I'm home. But the Bible Wars was in my house. That motherfucker was in, the Bible Wars was in the West Coast, on the West Coast. I think a few East Coast dudes tried to put that on. I put that on. I was fresh out on parole. And Quincy Jones was giving Andre an award. While he was giving him an award, they stopped everything and shined the light on Andre. He was there with his wife and his family or whatever. Only thing I know is this. Somebody went over there and socked.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Somebody went over there and socked on him about 5 or 6, 7 times. And the Yellow Coast security had to get him off of it. I know this. That same night, Snoop was there too. He ran away from Dre, not towards Dre, so I don't think they're as tight as they say they are, because he watched the man get whooped on. After that, they told the police on me. They sent the video to my parole officer. They made it one of my parole conditions. If I be any way around Andre, I'm going to jail, getting a violation, and going to prison. I couldn't talk to nobody that he know, or I get a violation.
The 96 Source Awards. Can you give me the backstory behind you and Pac having that run-in with Biggie and Puffy?
Well, as you know, all the awards is fake. I always knew when my artist was going to win and not going to win, because if I showed up aggressively enough or people pay enough money, anybody can win an award. All the awards are fake. They're bought. They're not earned. So at that time, Pac never won an award. So I made sure Snoop won the Artist of the Year. He beat out R. Kelly. Y'all remember that? You go back and look at that footage when Snoop had the burgundy rag on his head. But anyway.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I wanted to make sure Pac won an award. And Pac was going to win an award. We knew everybody was going to be at that award. And we always have an after party after the awards. So we know what it was. They know what it was. And we probably had, I don't know, I didn't count head for head, but it could have been 80 or more or a little less of everybody from Compton wearing burgundy sweatshirts with Pink Folk on the back. Then we had a whole busload of the homies from the Bay Area. Then Pac was in the car with me in the Hummer. Pac had on army tees. So everybody came there with what they was coming to do, see who's who. But I don't know. I can't go on facts because I don't know this. But the police was waiting on us. When we got ready to pull in and get to the Soul Train Awards, they didn't want to let us in because I guess they knew we was coming, and they even told Puffy and them we was on the way. Puffy ran and slid under a limo. We arguing with the police, the Moodles was there, everybody was there, you know, to express ourselves. It was a guy who was with Puffy and Bad Boy in them camp. They was paying the South Sides. So he whipped out a gun And shit, we ain't worried about no gun, you know what I mean? Because everybody right, if you know what I mean. Plus, the police all there, LAPD. But you know, I think those LAPD dudes always had a relationship with those dudes. So they pull their weapons out, take the gun from him, handcuff him. I don't know if he went to jail or got time behind it, but you know, it's still the smoke travels. And according to Keefy D, that smoke thick as a motherfucker. So that's all it was. We ended up changing our clothes and going to the after party. Before we go to the after party, we go to Monty's, of course. And one of those dudes who messed with Puffy and them was there. And Pac knew him. He said, man, they fuck with them. And then one of my guys, he said, he know them. I said, man, this dude's, he from New York, but this is my brother. You know, we the same. He with us. So all those things happen. All those things occur. And the footprints was already in the mud. So I don't know why they act like it was surprising and blame me for killing Tupac. I don't know why it was surprising to send me to prison where they couldn't even give me a violation, to the fact that that same case come back and hunt me now. I'm in court right now. I'm not the Menendez brothers. I didn't kill my parents, but I'm in court right now because they violated my rights of me and go per. I ain't never had a public defender lawyer ever in my whole history. I had paid lawyers, and the judge on record says, I don't think your lawyer is experienced enough. And I paid her. He said, I'm firing her. She said, well, my partner has been practicing for 35 years. I don't care. He fired my paid attorney and said I had to get a guy named LeBlanc, who been his friend for 40 years, and he a public pretender. And they did not allow me to go to trial. They did not allow me to have a trial. Now, if A$AP Rocky can get off, I'd have been free like OJ all day, but I wasn't given that opportunity. They didn't even let my kids come to court. But my people ain't Rihanna. They can bring their children to court. So we got to get this right. Right now, the law don't supposed to be blind. So give everybody the fair chance.
Yeah, that's crazy. But to backtrack, so Puffy, he ran when he seen you and Pac?
Shit. When things start changing, majority of the time, I didn't really know how Puffy looked in the face no more. Because majority of the time I seen him, I seen the back of his head. You know, I was at the Roosevelt having dinner, you know, with me with a bitch or two, a couple of homies. And a guy came to our table and said, hey, Prince is doing his show right now. He wants you to come in right now and watch his show, and he got a table for you. So I'm like, I'll go in there. So I left everybody at the table. I went there solo, you know. Prince sat me down at a table where Puffy was there, Nas was there. There was a couple other people there. And when I sat at this table, Prince is the coldest gangster in the world. Don't let the motherfucking high heels fool y'all. He playing the guitar and said, what's up, Suge? And started laughing because he know he must have been mad at Puffy because he planted me at that table. I said two things to Puffy. He get up and leave, and when he got outside, they put coats over and hid him so nobody could see who they was rushing out. Right-handed guy. That actually happened. So we never had no reenaction after that. And I can understand why the rumors or the facts or certain people, you know, one thing I want to tell these youngsters, it's okay for people to respect you. But when people fear you, they got to get rid of you. There's only two ways to get rid of a real ghetto motherfucker. Either you snitch on them and send them to prison forever, or you kill them. If somebody fear you that much, they're going to put dollars up to kill you. I'm in here right now where people tried to kill me twice. First time I got shot 7 times, they know who did it. I didn't say nothing. They make a song about it, but they got a relationship with the police. Doesn't get done. Second time, Andre gave these dudes personal checks. They know they got the checks. The people they gave the money to said he paid them to kill me. They had guns. They got the proof they had guns. I'm in prison. So all these things is so far-fetched and so the politics is crazy. The reason why the politics is so crazy because if a person have guns on me and trying to kill me, number one, it could be self-defense or it could be an accident. I'm 100% blind in one eye, so you know I can't see from that side. So that couldn't be the case of me trying to do something. But at the end of the day, they got the proof for the guns and they got the checks. So
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
don't let people fear you so much that the only solution is to kill you or send you to prison. That's my message to the day for the younger generations. Because I'm obligated to tell them the truth. Hey, you know what? I'm saying this and I'm not throwing no jabs at one motherfucker. I'm saying this to all you idiots, right? YouTube is the best DA in America because you don't even need a DA no more. You don't need no PI. You don't need no detectives because this person is found guilty because of YouTube. This person is getting indicted because of YouTube. This person in prison because of YouTube. YouTube is the best DA that the United States of America ever had. So, stop talking to YouTube unless you want to be in handcuffs. Unless you Suge Knight. Because I can get shot on YouTube. They can see they got guns trying to kill me. See, there are guns. And I still somehow, some way, find myself in prison. But I wouldn't have gotten the shape I need to get into. I wouldn't have got to know a woman so great without this prison or any other body, you know, because I enjoy understanding where people come from. I never want to be cut off from the world. So when people like send me messages on the Getting Out app and all that stuff, a mail, believe it or not, it makes me feel my purpose wasn't forgotten. If you do a movie, you always say Universal doing the movie. Universal going to create a production company. The reason why they create a dummy production company, in case they get sued, Universal don't get the hit, the production company get the hit. And they can always cancel that production company out and walk away from it. So, when they were doing Straight Outta Compton, they had people they hired was getting $150 a day for doing security. If they want to give these guys extra money, it would come from the production company. And if Andre wanted to give these guys extra money, it would come from his business account, not his personal account. Like if I give you a check from my business
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
and you do something to get in trouble, you don't fall on me because you can be an employee or I can hire you to do something from my business account. If I give you a check from my personal account, that means I'm personally giving you something to do something for me personally. And the reason why Andre wouldn't give him a check from his business account because he wanted to keep it a secret. But that's still stupid. So nevertheless, you had guys getting $150 a day. He gave guys extra money. One guy got a check for $20,000. And he went to the bank to cash it. So they had to call him and talk to him personally. Did you really get this dude in here with a dirty T-shirt on and bummy jeans and to cash a $20,000 check. He had to verify and say, yeah. The problem with that, when they asked the guy, why did you get a $20,000 check? He said, because he gave me $20,000 to kill Suge Knight. And he told that to more than one guy. So, when they called me and I pulled up at Tams, they was paid to kill me. I'm not the one said that. The people who got the money said that. Because they brought the checks to me, and to the PI, and to the lawyers when I was in the county jail. I'm locked up. Remember, I can't even use the phone. I can't even write nobody. Can't nobody write me. But at the same time, these guys sent a copy of the check and say, hey, show him this. I'm like, okay, why are you showing me? He said, because he want to know that Andre paid us to kill you. The only problem with that is this. If somebody pays you to kill me, which is murder for hire, and you get spooked and can't do the job, and somebody get hurt, somebody even lose their life by accident, good friend of mine, but he wasn't with me. Still my homie, though. So do that mean I'm supposed to go to prison? If it was anybody else, they wouldn't be in prison. Then you got to remember one other thing. Right before that happened, I got shot 7 times. A sheriff gave some idiot a gun who started shooting. I didn't panic. Got shot one in my belly button, in my stomach, arm, back shoulder, right? I walks out the fucking club. The police was talking about shooting me. I gets into the ambulance. They said, man, what's going on? Look, you fat motherfucker. Get me to the hospital. I get to the hospital. I don't know if all of them was doctors, but I know to me it looked like maybe 10 or more people looking down on me. First thing they tell me, see if you can move this one of your toes. If you can't, don't panic. That don't mean it's permanently. I said, man, I can move my legs. It's time for me to have surgery. Somebody looked at me and said, you know what? That's a miracle. I said, you know what? It's a blessing from God. So, you trying to tell me 90 days before they tried to kill me at Tams, I got shot 7 times. And I didn't die. And the next time somebody tried to kill me again, and somebody else get hurt, somebody else die, and I'm in prison, when, for a fact, they already get on the stand and one of the guys told the truth. I can tell you what type of gun this is. That's me getting the gun, putting it in my back waistband, putting the shirt over it. This person had a gun. This person had a gun. The crazy thing about it, the guy who got ran over and all that shit, when he got on the stand, he came walking out with the judge. When they gave him immunity, it says he can't get in trouble, I thought he was going to let me go. And if we had a problem, we could have dealt with it right then and there. Instead, he said, when they first pulled a gun on me, he didn't tell me he pulled a gun on me. He just said, I said, you'll be dead by the night. He also stated that when they came to the hospital, they had him handcuffed to the bed. If you're a victim, you're not going to be handcuffed to the bed. He also stated and said the DA wanted him to say, it's a gun. No, he stated in writing. He said the DA said he wanted to say it's a gun. Scratch that. The DA said it was a gun. He said you could say it was your radio or walkie-talkie.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Only problem with that is, in this car, that car never left camera view. His cell phone and his walkie-talkie was in the car. Only problem with that is, if a motherfucker get ran over, he all messed up, and I run over to help him, the last thing I'm thinking about is grabbing a radio or walkie-talkie.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And the radio and the walkie-talkie is too big to put in your back waistband and pull your shirt over. And the person who he handed to said it was a gun. So how am I in prison? How the fact that you gave these people checks, and they said the reason why you gave them their checks to kill me. Now, I'm not saying nobody should be in prison, including me. Only thing they had to do is still today, they could have told the truth. Nobody was going to get in trouble. They got immunity. If I pulled up once, I'm going to pull up again. We don't have to go through all this bitch shit. We don't got to make up stories. Don't use the police to take me out the streets. If you want to kill me, you want to kill me. If you fail trying to kill me, I'm not putting you in prison. Why would you put me in prison? If you pay money to have me killed, why get scared now? And when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, it's like this. Off that Apple deal, they couldn't have did that Apple deal because of me and Death Row. And not to mention, I still, for the rest of Dre's life, I get 20% management commission. I never ended that deal with him. When people in your pocket, that's a serious situation. For as publishing, that's Suge's publishing. It says that. At the end of the day, I was controlling too much of the music industry. At the end of the day, they offered to buy my company more than once. At the end of the day, I declined to sell. At the end of the day, Michael Harris, you can hear the recordings. The FBI, the authorities say, if you can bring down Death Row, we'll take care of you. Basically let him out of prison. You don't have to do his fed time. Now, even though this guy never gave me a penny, if he did, I would say it. If he says he put illegal money in the Death Row, well, how is he Snoop's boss? Because he brought Snoop and said, we're going to do Death Row together. It's called You Can't Take Money from a Poisoned Tree and Make Something Right. Come from a poisoned tree. Snoop, you said, I'm mad because you bought Death Row. What you buy? Set me up. Show me where y'all paid the money to buy it. Show me how you and Mike, as y'all want to call a rat, own the company. Show me the paperwork. Show me what you own. Now, you were representing Death Row when you was on Death Row. I gave you your label. You had Doggy Style. And I gave you the money to start that label. Remember? You had an artist named Trade E. Trade E, you put out.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
You never paid him. He shoot your house up. He killed the house. Well, he shot the house up. You take the video, take it to the DA. The DA looks at the video arrest trainee who's on doggy style, and they tell him, either you're going to get life or you can take a deal for 10 years. Trainee went and took the deal for 10 years, said Assalamu alaikum, became Muslim, and did his time. Now, let's not remember, you was running Def Jam. Did you do anything good for Def Jam? Absolutely not. Now, you want to start something that has nothing to do with you. You're going backwards. You're trying to create something that Suge Knight created. But instead of making something big, you disappoint the world by making everything flops. When I put out the Dog Pound, they sold records. You put out on the Dog Pound, they sold nothing. It flopped. You and Andre got together. Andre says it's the best album he ever did in his whole life. Well, we cannot tell because it came and went so fast. Not to mention, you know and I know the truth. But whatever you want to say is your choice. But back to my case, I'm in prison for making sure these dudes didn't go to prison. When you look at Snoop, you got to look at it like this. All the money I paid to the DA, all the money I paid to the PI, after your own homie snitched on you. After I paid the money for Johnny Carson to represent somebody, this person to represent somebody. The bodyguard you had, Michel'le, a good young man, you ruined that man's life. You know he didn't shoot nobody. He know he didn't shoot nobody. Once I got him to take the case for you, you never spoke to that man again. You didn't give him $1. You burnt him. That's coward. That's bitch shit. You still owe me money. When you turned around and got sued for the civil case, I just found out you never paid my money back. I had to pay some of that for you. You didn't even have an album out. You owe me bread. But you ain't too smart. Because if somebody really owe you, if you really owe somebody, pay that person their money. You're going to spend more money on beefing up security or living in fear. Or, when I come home, knock on my door and explain to me why you're not going to run me my bread. You don't got to talk tough. We don't got to talk about each other. That gets nowhere. Whoever have a situation, we can have a situation. But one person or 3 or 4 people is not bigger than hip-hop. We should be trying to figure out how to make hip-hop better. Everybody's destroying hip-hop. You guys are making it worse. If they doing streams, and if you do 1 million streams and you only get $300, if that's not a sign of slavery, that's worse than being a slave. Snoop, that's getting raped without the baby oil. But at the same time, what's to talk about? If you have Death Row, you destroyed it. You messed up the name. Why you not doing something with No Limit? You didn't want to be on Death Row. You was a No Limit soldier. Weren't you the same guy saying you had to get away from P because P selling drugs, and his own drugs, killed his own daughter? How would I know this if you didn't say this? You didn't say it to me personally. We all know you said it. For doing something against the homie, the last thing I want to see you in handcuffs. I know you can't handle it. I know you can't deal with this. And I don't want to see you in prison. And you're not going to be in prison. Not on my watch. But you know your role, what you participated in. You know your role, what you put up. And for you to still lie and speak on Pac like y'all was friends, it's sad. It's sad to the fact that none of y'all came when he got his start. Nobody did any songs with him when he was gone. The thing I'm trying to say is this. We need to grow. And the main thing is like, you get a guy, I don't know this guy named Racist John. Somebody sent me a picture of him with all the plaques of all the music I put out. He's standing in front of these plaques. Those not real plaques. That's something he made on his own. It's a sad thing, but the people who have death row chains never got a death row chain from me. So why aren't you wearing a death row chain? Everybody want to change life. The ones who ain't did shit want to be somebody. I don't got to talk about nobody. Only thing I can do is be myself and tell my own story. All this extra, I'm not going to argue about nobody. Even when people go to talk about my kids, I love all my kids. I can name all my kids. Taj, Arian, Suge, Jacob, same person. Taz, Bailey, Sosa, legend. Now, truth be told, Jeff, I took care of him since he was a baby. I'm not his biological father. Andrew, don't have nothing against him. Everybody says, oh, you got a gay son. Okay, Andrew's gay, but he's not my son. So everybody want to attack. But one thing about me is I love my kids, and you can get people who try to rewrite history. You get people who can say something negative about me. It could be a baby mama. Bitch, if it weren't for me, you would never have nothing. If it weren't for me, wouldn't nobody know you. But people choose to take their platform and talk negative. Does that bother me? I rather get my blessing from God. It was a woman that came to me. I had about 2 years left in prison. I'm like, they said, well, they trying to give me some time. I did a crime. I said, you know what? You got a son. Right hand to God. True story. I said, they'd rather give me time than give you time. I'll do an extra 5 years if you got to do time for you. I can do that shit for you. They said, for real? Yeah. There's a witness who was there. I said, yeah, all you got to do is tell them it's me. And if I agree to it, even though I don't know nothing about it, they'd rather for me to do the time. But what I didn't know until recently, until other people and people sending me stuff, these people were wires when they came to visit me in prison. It's not that I was a good crook. It's not that I was smart and didn't get in trouble, because the stuff they was asking me, the stuff they was trying to put on me was not true. That's sad for a person who did nothing but good for you to try to destroy your name and your reputation. I think one of the worst things I could have did is bring people into my company. I brought these people in because nobody else would hire them. I brought these people in because they can get a job. The majority of these people I brought in, they brought in that police mentality of turning everybody against each other. A lot of people turn artists against artists. It wasn't me. Didn't have to. But who I did ride for, who I did love, who I always gonna ride for, is Tupac. I got love for everybody ever been on death row, the real death row. But if all you guys got death row, why y'all getting mad? Why you didn't do your own shit? At the end of the day, where we at with it? What could we do to make this better? Or do y'all really want it? Because Snoop, Mike, Andre, Jazz, we know you don't.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
You can't find a big check you got from death row because you always sold your stuff to everybody else. But won't you guys right now? Y'all want to run to me about something, have a real conversation on any level you want to? Feel me out.